So I think not too long ago, there was average news regarding VeChain. Now, nothing I say is financial advice, but what is that? So quite recently, someone by the name of Valuable TX, they made a post. The news was that a validator was about to join with 600 million VET locked up. In which case, initially when people take a look at, whoa, 600 million VET, and VET, by the way, is VeChain's primary native token, they were like, whoa, this is pretty cool, right? But if we take a look at it, 600 million VET, that is not dollars, right? That is like literally 600 million VET. In which case, if we take a look at today's prices when it comes to VET, not like when the post was made, but again, like basically when I make this video, 600 million VET times 0.0069, that's going to be around $4 million. In which case, if we consider as of right now, the market cap of VET being at around 600 million, basically, 4 million isn't necessarily the biggest thing of all time, but it's not the worst either. So I think it's relatively average, in the grand scheme of things. But I still find it pretty impressive, especially when I consider how, 600 million is the most, allegedly, what a validator could lock up anyways. Like that seems to be the max or capped amount, right, for a validator. So it's still pretty impressive seeing something like that, especially at a time like right now, even though it's not necessarily the best thing, but I don't think it's the worst thing either, but I still think it's pretty impressive considering the current conditions that we're in as of right now. And even seeing a validator doing that to begin with, I think that's pretty cool, actually, even though, again, this is just my opinion. But you know what? Nonetheless, people like to say, oh, why didn't anything like that do much to the price of VET? Well, here's the thing. If we take a look at it, VeChain, right? It's a pretty massive project in the grand scheme of things. If we take a look at VET in terms of market cap as of right now, it's like, what, slightly below 600 million? So if we think about that, 4 million compared to around 600 million, it's not really going to do that much, in my opinion, at least. I mean, it's a massive amount in and of itself, again, around 4 million, but if you compare it to the whole market cap of VET, which is VeChain's primary native token, it's not going to do much, especially at a time like this, again, when the sentiment isn't doing the best. This could have been maybe a little bit different if the sentiment was a little bit better, but it's not, right? So this type of stuff right here, I think, is pretty cool seeing, I guess, just the whole vibe of VeChain overall still even having a validator like that care about the project, in my opinion. Because some people out there, they've given up when it comes to VeChain. But, clearly that validator probably didn't. So yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. I haven't given up either, but I'm just saying. So when it comes to VeChain overall, yes, when it comes to VET, it is as of right now around 14.5 times lower than 10 cents. Now here's the thing, why do I want to use 10 cents as an example? It's because, first of all, we almost saw actually VET reach 10 cents back in 2024 in December, in which case it was like 6.5 cents approximately. So it was almost at 10 cents, but actually if we take a look at it even farther than that, right? Back in 2021, we saw VET reach around 20 cents. So here's the thing. If let's say VET for whatever reason could just go to half, if it just goes to like 10 cents, we're actually around 14.5 times lower than that. Around 14.5 times. So again, we're around 14.5 times approximately lower than 10 cents. In which case, I think that if anything showcases just how much VeChain has had a pullback. In which case as well, people like to tell me, oh, isn't that a time to give up? Now, personally for me, I can't speak on anyone's behalf, but I don't want to give up. And the reason why is because why would I leave? Basically, at a time when the greed and fear index is at extreme fear when it comes to this space overall. I don't know why I do that. That usually indicates a lot of people leaving, a lot of people, basically not believing in this space anymore. And what happens naturally, usually? Altcoins, they're not going to be doing the best. And we're clearly seeing that when it comes to VeChain. However, here's the thing. At around a 600 million market cap, guess what these levels kind of are similar to? They're similar to levels in which VeChain once experienced back in 2020. Keep in mind, in November of 2020, VeChain had a market cap of around 600 million. What market cap do we have as of right now? Around 600 million. Imagine those who dollar cost average at below 600 million in terms of market cap before that rally, right? Even if it just went to half of its all-time high, Still going to Sizzler time for me. That's the way to take a look at it. I mean, VET at this point, right, is basically, in my opinion, so low to the point that if it just goes to like half of its all-time high or even like a quarter of its all-time high, I'm going to Sizzler. That's the way you take a look at it. And even I don't have to look at it like in that far of an example either. Let's just say VET went back to the market cap that it had in December of 2024. That market cap was around 5 billion, by the way. Around 5 billion. As of right now, the market cap of VET is slightly below 600 million. So we're around 8 times lower than that, basically. Around 8 times lower than a market cap in which we just saw slightly over a year ago. Again, VET just going back to December 2024 levels right there. Time for me to go to Sizzler. That's the way to take a look at it. Time for me to go to Applebee's. That's kind of my mindset. Even though I am not telling anyone to do anything. But the way you take a look at it is that, again, it just kind of fascinates me as to how low VeChain is, but I'm not going to complain. The way I take a look at it is I'm still dollar cost averaging once a month and I'm still holding, even though, again, I am not telling anyone to do anything. But just overall, when it comes to VeChain, I mean, it's a project that's focused on supply chain management, primarily speaking. We know what it did with the UFC and PowerSlap. Also on top of that, we take a look at how the VeChain Thor blockchain supposedly, ever since 2018, zero network outages. So it's not like it's a useless project. I don't think about it that way. I mean, I do find it pretty cool, in my opinion, at least, in terms of the fundamentals. And also on top of that, if we take a look at, Dana White, right? Who is the CEO of the UFC. In an interview that I saw not that long ago, like he even said that the only project that he holds within this space is allegedly VeChain. So again, I thought that was pretty cool. And by VeChain, I'm probably assuming he means, VET, which is the primary native token of VeChain. But besides that point, I'm still waiting. I'm still staying patient. But even besides that point, though, if I take a look at something like VeChain, yeah, I just don't want to give up personally. I still like it fundamentally. I mean, I don't think VeChain could ever become the biggest out there, but it's also a little bit difficult for a top 100 project, in my opinion, to just randomly get forgotten about like that. I mean, VeChain is currently 73rd in the world when it comes to this space in terms of like market cap for VET, right? I mean, VET is currently ranked 73rd in the world, I should say, to kind of simplify it within this space. So it's basically a top 100 project, right? Is it that easy for that to get forgotten about? If VET could just maintain this position heading into a hypothetical altcoin season, just maintain. I'm not saying do better. I'm not saying do worse. Again, if it could just maintain that, that's time to go to Sizzler for me because VET does not need to break any sort of records, right? If it goes to 10 cents, by the way, if we were to consider VET's current circulating supply, the market cap at that point would be around 8.5 billion. 8.5 billion. So not even 10 billion. By the way, if we take a look at around an 8.5 billion market cap, we've seen pretty much, right? Dogecoin exceed that by approximately 10 times, at least at a certain point in terms of market cap in 2021. Around 10 times. So that market cap at 10 cents would be around 10 times lower than a market cap in which Dogecoin once reached in 2021. Like, is this such a ridiculous amount for a project like VeChain? Yeah, I don't know if I think about it that way, but we'll wait and see. So yeah, I just wanted to make a video real quick when it comes to VeChain because I thought it was pretty cool. Again, that news that I talked about earlier on in the video about that validator wanting to join with 600 million VET being locked up. So yeah, I just thought it was pretty cool. But even besides that point though, I just want to say thank you for watching. I hope you all have a very nice day, and I'll be sure to make more updated videos when it comes to VeChain, so hopefully I'll stay tuned for that. It's been Lee the Captain, and I'm out. Peace. Bye.